Superman is finally out in theaters. This is James Gunn's new movie, and I've been so excited for this movie since it was first announced as this new chapter in the DC universe. DC has always had recently a rocky road in the theaters. And Superman especially is a very interesting character because he's one of the most popular characters just in pop culture, yet there has been a lot of trouble with making a Superman movie. And being honest, as someone who loves movies and loves these characters, I have been wanting to see a great Superman movie. And I think this movie is really good. It's really close to being like this great movie. I think it's a great Superman movie. I don't think it's a cinematic masterpiece or one of the best movies of the year, but it's really great, and it's a really great start for DC. And in a way, kind of like Iron Man. Iron Man, when I look back, isn't a movie that is one of the best movies of all time. It's a really solid, entertaining movie that just keeps you entertained. It has a heart. It has great characters. That's what Superman is. And it's perfect because it's not trying to be this high piece of art, but it still has this heart and soul. And that's something that a movie like Man of Steel did not have. I saw Man of Steel when I was 12. This is not coming from a place of hate. It's a place of, nostalgia. I saw Man of Steel as a kid, and I remember the whole time just feeling this frustration because I wasn't getting that soul. I'd seen the Avengers a couple months before, and 12-year-old me was like, where's the heart? Where's the hope and the joy? That was totally, taken out. I think Zack Snyder is a great director, especially when it comes to his shots and his visual style. And just the way he shoots certain things, but the way DC went in that direction, they just didn't fully grasp the characters they had. And it seems like this movie does get that. So I want to talk about Superman and why I think it is a really good movie. Now, there's always been this question that's been hanging over Superman in modern culture. Can he still resonate? In this era of snarky anti-heroes, darker narratives, and world-weary superheroes, the idea of this guileless, all-powerful alien choosing kindness can feel quaint or irrelevant. But James Gunn's Superman doesn't just prove otherwise, it proves it. This is a movie that understands the character's heart and uses it as a compass. It is silly, it is overstuffed, and it is a little messy, but it's also vibrant, emotionally resonant, and it's genuinely joyful. It's a welcome throwback to the kind of superhero movies we don't see enough of anymore. It's set 3 years after Clark Kent, played in a perfectly cast role by David Corenswet, has publicly revealed his Superman identity. The film opens midstream. There's no Krypton origin, no childhood flashback. Superman's already established. He's beloved by some, he's feared by others. He's intervening in international conflicts, navigating his dual identity as a reporter and hero, and he's living with Lois Lane, who is played by Rachel Brosnahan, who's electric in this role. And in this movie, Superman's grappling with what it truly means to do good in a messy, complicated world. Enter Lex Luthor, who is played by Nicholas Hoult, who's so good in this role. And a lot of people have been talking about this, but it's so good to see a villain who's just a pure villain. There's really just, again, not really a lot of backstory given to Lex in this movie, which is something I guess I wanted a little more of. But I think even if you look at Sam Raimi's Spider-Man, I think of Willem Dafoe and I think of just the backstory there. It's not like we get tons and tons. It's just kind of what you need for the story. Nicholas Hoult is just so charismatic and he's just so fun to watch. It's such a cool character, Lex Luthor. They totally get him right. I love watching, how he uses tech, politics, and media manipulation to paint Superman as a threat to humanity. Along the way in this movie, Superman must team up with a new group of metahumans, the Justice Gang, to face an escalating global crisis and swarm of interconnected threats from baby kaiju to interdimensional prisons. Now, there is a lot happening in Superman, maybe too much, but Gunn does make it work. Unlike other recent blockbusters like The Marvels, even Thunderbolts or Jurassic World Rebirth, which, felt hollow and lifeless despite the scale they had, Superman feels like an actual movie. It's full of soul, style, substance. Its overstuffed cast isn't a burden, it's all a feature. Characters like Mr. Terrific, played by Edie Gathegi, Hawkgirl, played by Isabella Merced, and Green Lantern, Guy Gardner, played by Nathan Fillion. They don't just show up, they land. Gunn gives them each these distinctive moments, powers, and personalities. And it's not like he's pausing the story for exposition dumps or treating them like set dressing. Unlike Batman vs. Superman, where Justice League's literally introduced in an email, Gunn's introducing these lesser-known DC characters with actual care. They all have purpose. They're woven into the narrative, and crucially, they feel like part of this living universe. Like, I like how they're introduced kind of in the middle of the movie, and then they show up, and there's kind of an emotional payoff there. It's not like they're just there to introduce a bunch of random characters. And I love how they're just part of the universe. It's not like a joke. Take Hawkgirl. She screeches mid-flight like, well, a hawk. And the film plays it completely straight. There's no Marvel-style quip undercutting the moment. Like, Mr. Terrific looks at her like, so you screech like a hawk? You know, like, it's just like a straight movie. I love that. It's a universe that treats its weirdness seriously, and that confidence in tone is exactly why it works. And there's a strong identity here in a sea of sameness. What truly sets Superman apart from other superhero fare is its identity. It's a James Gunn movie through and through. It's full of earnest heart, goofy side characters, needle drop moments, and a deep affection for misfits. But unlike some recent superhero outings that feel like copy-paste product, like Captain America Brave New World, this movie knows exactly what it is and what it wants to be. Like, modern blockbusters prioritize franchise building over telling a coherent story. Superman feels like a complete film. It's not just a setup. It's not just a tone experiment. It's not afraid to be heartfelt, strange, or straightforward. There's a scene early on where Superman saves a squirrel, and James Gunn said he almost cut that because studio audiences didn't like it, but I feel like that's part of the heart of the story there. Like, Superman will save anyone. He just has a heart, and he's a good person at his core, and that's the soul of the movie. That's something Man of Steel didn't really have. But then again, this movie is a success, and this movie is already making more money domestically than Man of Steel. This movie grossed $522 million. It's the 8th highest grossing movie of the year, behind Ne Zha 2, which is a Chinese movie, Lilo and Stitch, a Minecraft movie, Jurassic World, How to Train Your Dragon, Mission Impossible, The Final Reckoning, and F1. And you notice something kind of weird about what I just said? There's no Marvel movies. So Superman is doing something right. It has its original story, which, unlike those other movies I just mentioned, are all reboots or part of a franchise. Superman is part of a franchise, yes, but I think unlike any of those movies, there actually is care. I haven't seen Ne Zha 2, so I actually can't speak for that one, but honestly, those other 6 movies are just kind of bland in comparison to Superman. In my opinion, Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning was literally just a 3-hour excuse so Tom Cruise could do 2 stunts and call it a day. I mean, I didn't think that movie was that good, except for those 2 scenes, of course. Superman, at the end of the day, is just a good movie, and it's smart. It's smart in how it handles its tone. It leans into comic book absurdity, enslaved propaganda blasting monkeys, kaiju babies, Lois grilling Clark in an on-the-record interview about the consequences of his actions. And by the way, Brosnan and Corn Sweat, their chemistry is so good. And the film does dare to ask, what does it mean to do good when the world is broken? And let's not forget the context of this movie. This isn't the first time Warner Brothers has tried to reinvent Superman. Superman Returns went nostalgic and underwhelmed. Man of Steel went serious and polarizing. And Gunn is threading the needle back with the color, the hope, the sincerity. And another thing that I think works with this movie is it isn't actually homework. It's fun. In an era where superhero movies do feel like you have to see other shit to understand them, like Thunderbolts or the aforementioned Brave New World, with both of those movies were failures. Fantastic Four has only been out a week, so we have to see the box office of that, but Brave New World and Thunderbolts were not successes, and Superman is a success. So let me know what you guys think. I'm very excited for whatever comes next in DC. I believe we're getting Supergirl, then Clayface, and then I'm very curious to see how they do the Batman 2. I think that'll be an Elseworlds project, and then they'll just eventually keep making DC projects until a canonical Batman film. But it's a very great start. Like I said, this is not trying to be this epic movie. It's a start with introducing small characters. It's very good for what it's trying to do. So let me know what you guys think. Snyder fans, Gunn fan, everyone's a movie fan, right, who watches these. So guys, thank you so much for watching. Leave your comments below. Subscribe.